So after 20 some odd episodes, ReZero's anime finally came to an end, at the least season 1. We're still unconfirmed if we'll ever get a season 2, but it finally wrapped up with quite a bit of controversy with the end. Because a lot of people with ReZero, it's one of those anime where it came, a lot of people got hyped, and then towards the end, people really weren't digging how it finished. So let's get started. One of the negatives about ReZero, I will definitely say, is the fact that it left a lot of unanswered questions that kind of begs for a season 2. If there is a season 2 of this anime at some given point 2, 3, 4 years down the road, then it will definitely help a lot. One of the major ones is, okay, we had this royal selection and it kind of fizzled out towards the end as not being a main plot point, because we had characters like Felt that was kind of involved for that particular reason, and since we didn't really focus on that throughout the anime, it was like, you know, one small arc of that, and then it was never addressed again. So that's one major point that kind of was unaddressed towards the end of the series. It was like, well, you know, that's supposed to happen at some point, but we're not addressing it right now, motherfucker. Another thing that wasn't addressed is towards the end of the anime, it felt as though Rem was completely written out of the show for the sake of Subaru x Emilia.
Hey babe, I love you.
But I love Emilia. Honestly, it felt as though they did that. According to many people, they do say that the reason why Rem isn't shown in the last few episodes is actually explained, but in another novel or two after this. Because apparently the ReZero anime covered majority of the novels that they had. There was probably, I think, 1 or 2 extra pieces of material that weren't adapted, but essentially we covered most of the ground. So that means that it'll be a long wait to get some answers to these questions. Another unanswered question is regarding the witch, her connection to Emilia, her connection to Puck saying, hey, I'm your mother. What is that all about? That's another unanswered question that we have in ReZero. Not to mention, towards the end of the series, we had little to no screen time of Beatrice, a character that was hyped up and heavily shown in the first half of ReZero, and towards the end was nowhere to be seen. Same thing with the owner of the mansion, Roswell. Like, that dude just completely fizzled out into the background. He had a business meeting that he never returned from. And then, of course, a few of the slower paced episodes that we did have in ReZero. For example, some of the episodes where Subaru was cleaning around the mansion and trying to impress Rem and Ram. Those episodes were a little bit slow paced. And then a point where a lot of people kind of got disinterested in ReZero was the White Whale arc. A lot of people were like, it feels too Monster Hunter-ish. I like some of the other stuff. So quite a few people actually fell off of ReZero because of the White Whale arc, which is a shame because we did have some epic and beast moments in there with the old dude with the sword cutting in the white whale and finding out his backstory. We had some good stuff there. So essentially the negatives of ReZero is, again, the unanswered questions and a couple of slow paced episodes, not too many. But let's talk about the positives. One of the major positives of ReZero itself is the main character, which a lot of series struggle to make a main character that ultimately is enjoyable or developed or well-rounded, and I feel as though with ReZero they did a smashing job with making Subaru not only likable but a well-diverse character. Like, every arc helped to develop him even further and further. And while some of the fan base is still upset with him, including myself on a fandom level, about the whole I love Emilia bullshit, ultimately the anger lies in the fact that Rem had a lot more screen time and a lot more time to develop with Subaru opposed to Emilia. Which, to be fair, I'm Rem all day every day. Like, Rem is my chick from that series. To me, Rem is best gal. Right next to Beltegis, like you know, they're both best gal. I'm kidding, I know he's a dude, but yeah. The development and the relationship between Subaru and Rem was just fantastic. Some of the best stuff in the series, especially the little speech that we got from Subaru where he was just breaking down his character. It almost felt as though the series was basically trying to explain that all these series out there, the Sword Art Onlines and the No Game No Lives, that kind of fantasize and give you this illusion that going into an MMO world will be just perfect and beautiful, it breaks down that fantasy for fans. Because the showcases time and time again Subaru going through tragedy after tragedy and just constantly breaking his head, and what normal readers and viewers would think is like an easy solution to a problem, ultimately sometimes ain't easy. And when Subaru's just breaking down his character, I'm worthless, I spent my whole life in my room doing nothing, I've never been nothing, everything I try to do, it fails because at the end of the day I'm just bullshitting my way through. Like, it really felt amazing to see a character address himself and break himself down in such a manner. It was like, whoa, like, this is some next level writing shit. And had he not said that infamous line, I love Emilia, even though Rem was giving it up to him, we would have probably praised the shit out of that little speech that he did, basically breaking himself down. Don't really need to go too much into it. Art and animation, absolutely stupendous. Some of the CGI was a little here and there, not too good, but ultimately everything about it as far as art and animation goes was damn near perfect. It was gorgeous, it was beautiful, the colors, everything about it. There was never really a bad looking image in the ReZero anime. And up until the end, nearly every arc felt almost almost satisfying. Like, we almost had every single arc feeling satisfying, that we got something out of it, we got through a problem, and it really felt as though they were trying their best at the very least with the content they had to give some good solutions and good resolution to almost each and every part. Again, except the end. But one of the best things it did as well is the main antagonist, which really doesn't get introduced until later on in the series, Beltegis, I think that's how you pronounce his name, forgive me if I'm butchering it. His involvement in the series from the moment you get him around the midway point of the anime is where it really starts to take off, and where it really starts to go from this is tragic to oh my fucking god, this is insane. Like, seriously, somebody help this motherfucker out. The voice acting in the series was phenomenal, and that's one of the main things why Beltegis was just so insane. Like, his voice acting was just out of this world really good. It made him creepy, it made him sinister, and honestly, Re:Zero in a sense, it does have its problems, but as far as it just being an insane ride, it really did live up to that. It really did live up to, like, you don't know what's gonna happen next. There's always a tragedy in store for Subaru, and we never know how he's gonna get out of it or how he's gonna solve the problem that he's faced with. It's like next level shit. So with all that being said, I think that Re:Zero, while it did leave unanswered questions, it still gave a great, impactful anime for 2016, and it probably will go down as one of the best series we got this year, which is crazy because nobody was really talking about Re:Zero up until it actually blew up and everybody was like, yo, this is some good stuff. So if I had to give it a score, I would honestly say if it had a second season guaranteed, let's just say 2 or 3 years down the road, it probably would be a great. It would probably be like a 9 out of 10 because, oh yeah, we're gonna get the answers next season and stuff like that. But since we're left with so many unanswered questions, what happened to characters, why did this happen, the royal selection never getting explained and things of that nature, I would say it's still very good. It's still in the 8 to 8.5s out of 10. It would have been better if we knew that we were getting a second season, or if we had answers to majority of these major questions. But your final thoughts on Re:Zero, let me know what you thought of everything that went down. How did you feel about the finale? To be honest with you, the finale was a little bit lackluster in the sense of that it focused on a pairing when there's so many problems around it, and we had so much great development between Subaru and Rem. If anything, that would have been a better finale, focusing on them, whether it be a death or them getting together or something like that. It's almost as if you're paired up with these two characters that almost seems as though they could be in love, and it's like, nah, that's not happening, bro. Sorry, he's going to the other chick that he barely spent time with. And your overall thoughts of Re:Zero, do you think it needs a second season? Again, it'll be a long time before we get a second season, so if you're holding on to these unanswered questions, you're gonna be holding on a long time. And your favorite moment of the series? Like, there's so many classic moments, honestly. For me, I know it sounds horrible, but a lot of the tragic moments and how is Subaru gonna get out of this shit is what really gravitated me towards the series and really made me say, yo, this is awesome. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. That Re:Zero, baby, might go down as 2016's best anime. Hype!